So, welcome back, everybody.
Good evening.
So, we hope you had a great weekend. Today, we are continuing with part 2 of our conversation that we started on Friday about the meanings of the 12 tribes. And just maybe a quick comment about this, because sometimes you'll find that the tribes are categorized slightly different when you look on Wikipedia or something, right? That the 12 tribes actually do not include Levi that we discussed last time. It's correct, right?
Levi is a tribe, but he did not inherit the land.
Exactly.
He is a tribe, but he is not. Doesn't have like a mention.
Exactly. So we are continuing a bit in the same way. We're talking basically about the sons of Jacob in this case.
Yes.
Right? So because there are some other differences in how they're being categorized, but so we wrote here the hidden meanings of the 12 tribes, but just to keep this in the back of your mind. Right, that's all I wanted to say.
Yes. And in the former conversation, we were speaking about the first 6 sons of Jacob. 4 of them, they are mutual children of Jacob and Leah, the first daughter of Laban. And the 5th and the 6th sons are Jacob's children from Rachel's maid, Bilhah. So now we shall continue to speak about the rest of the children and the circumstances that brings them to the world, to our world.
All right.
So we read now from Genesis chapter 30, verse 9. I will read the general background and then we shall go back to the cards and read the name. ותרא לאה and Leah saw כי עמדה מלדת, and she stopped giving birth. ותיקח את זלפה שפחתה, and she took Zilpah her slave, ותיתן אותה ליעקב לאישה, and she gave her to Jacob as a wife. ותלד זלפה שפחת לאה, and Zilpah, the slave of Leah, gave birth Yaakov ben, and Zilpah, the Leah slaves, gave birth to a son, which was Jacob's son. Vatomer Leah, and Leah said, Ba Gad, luck has come. Vatikra et shmo Gad, and she named him Gad. Now we see this is a very interesting circumstances for a child to come to the world.
What do you mean?
Leah saw that she gave birth at the beginning for 4 sons in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel was envy Leah.
As we discussed last time, right?
Yes, and she took Bilhah, her maid, Amata, and she gave Bilhah to Jacob. And 2 children came out of this arrangement, so to speak. Dan and Naphtali. And Leah saw, meanwhile, she stopped giving birth. And she also put her bench, player, her slave,
Right,
Zilpah.
she brought her substitute player, yes?
Yes, and can you bring please the pad? We shall write her name, or it's
One
already
second.
written.
Trying
Why?
something new here.
Zilpah, we write from right to left. The meaning of the name Zilpah is Zol Po, cheap here. When Leah brought her to the game, because she noticed Rachel also play with a bench player like her maid, she noticed this is a cheap game here, so she pulled her slave, and because
so both
the
of
Bible,
them had a maid, yeah, okay.
yes, but they're different names. Rachel has a maid, Amata. This is extension of her, but here the Bible use Shifra. Shifra is like a slave. Like
literally
Leah.
uses the word slave. Okay.
Shifra, yeah.
Okay.
So this is also her name is Zilpah, Zolpo, cheap here, because Leah noticed this is a cheap game they're playing, and she has to put a bench player also into the game.
Okay.
And let's see what can we drop off the pad, and we
Right,
could
let's just
see the
remove it
name.
quickly.
One son is coming from special, let's say, setup, and I'll move the card. We shall see his name. His name is Gad.
So he's the son of Zilpah.
Zilpah, the first son of Zilpah and Jacob.
Right.
Gad is luck. In Hebrew, Gad means luck.
But
Like we
doesn't
say.
Mazal mean luck?
Mazal?
Like in Mazel Tov?
Mazel Tov, because it's like from Nezilah, from dropping, like the luck is something which is drops from somewhere. But also Gad. Gad is also a luck. Plus we have another, how do you say, Persian, Pur. Pur, like from Purim, is also luck. We have
Okay.
3 words that mean luck.
So wait a second, so the holiday of Purim actually means, like translated literally, the holiday of luck?
Luck. Yes.
Okay, that was new to
Yeah.
me.
Well, mhm. So here is the complete verse. I will read from right to left. Vatomer Leah, and Leah said, Bagad. And we see 3 letters in orange, Bet, Gimel, Dalet. This is how the Torah uses this way to write, because also Bagad in those letters mean to cheat. Leah has to cheat to gain this son. She had to put another bench player, not herself.
Wait a second, this what you put here in brackets, this is how the Bible actually writes this, or you just expanded it for us in the verse?
This 3 letters, Bet, Gimel, Dalet in orange.
Yeah.
I will like curse them now
Yeah,
here and with the
okay.
bottom. This is how the right canon. The canon is the acceptable
Right.
acceptable written way of the Bible. This is how the Bible writes it. Bet, Gimel,
Uh-huh.
Dalet, 2, 3, 4 in terms of number, which means also if it's a verb, it's like to cheat. If it's a noun, it's beged, like a dress. This is how the Torah, and what is in these brackets? This is the corrections, the Nikra Tikunei HaMasorah, the corrections of writing that people will understand it.
So
or
where
put
would
it
people
way-
find this? This is like when I now buy a Hebrew Bible, I'm gonna find this like special commentary within those brackets, or this like a special
Kohen
version?
Bible, like Kohen Bible.
Okay.
Kohen Bible, also Mechon Mamre.
Okay, interesting.
I don't know, I did not check the Torah in the synagogue on a roll, but I have to check it also, how it's
Uh-huh.
written there. But those 3 letters, which you don't have like dots on them, like those 3, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, if it's a verb, this is to cheat. If it's a noun, it's beged, which is addressing. Vatomer, this is the multiple, we spoke about this.
This is fascinating in Hebrew.
This
yes.
is not Safa Echat. This is not, because it's a multiple, double, triple, and so language, because she said so many things in one combination.
In 3
Vatomer
letters,
Leah.
right? Yeah.
Yes, bagad, meaning this is to cheat. This is a dressing. Dressing is something external. It's not inner. She wants to say something. This child is not in inner. Is external. Bagad. It's like comes from cheating, comes from dressing, like a dress to a person is something external. And the correction of the Masorah says, bagad, they try to make it better.
Like I said, it
the
was
correction,
luck came.
yes, because once they put the aleph after the bet, we see here in the correction, they put the
Right.
aleph after the bet, they say bagad, they make it better. Came luck.
All right.
Because, she said bagad and she said bet, gimel, dalet. She used the verb and there's no aleph inside. There is no, the
Exactly.
origin is not
Exactly.
there. This is what is so dangerous. This is why the correction of the Masorah correction comes and put aleph and separate and makes like order in this Babylonic speech.
So which
And
one is
says-
the right version? Are both of them right?
We see the first, which is not with aleph, we see with the eyes, but we read with the mouth, we express with our speech the second with the aleph, bagad.
Right, because there are no nikud, right, in the first
Nachon.
word. So
So
Could
we
be
see,
beged
you see
also.
so you see the split between like the name of the Lord we see, but we cannot pronounce because it's impossible. So here it's the same. We see what she meant, And we see also the correction of Baalei HaMasorah, the owning of the corrections of the Bible.
Very interesting.
Vatomer Leah, and Leah said, Ba Gad. She liked to make beautiful her saying. It was very hard for her to put her second player, because she was not an extension like Bilhah to Rachel. It was not her amata, it was not her extension, it was her slave. This is also, you see the verb to cheat or to dress, and later in her name, Zilpa, Zolpo. It's a cheap game. I have to go under the belly and to play this rough game with you. Vatikra et shmo Gad. She gives a name to the child. She gives a name to the child, not the biological mother or not the father.
Right, like in general, right? Wasn't this also with the Bilhah children like this? Bilhah doesn't give any names, right? She's just...
Bilhah, she's just delivering. Let me again look. I want to check again. I'm sorry. Also, Bilhah is called here again slave. Once she is has to go to birth, she also the Bible's.
okay, so they use the word for
slave.
Okay.
Slave shifchatal, not amata, not like extension, but they use here. I'm sorry.
It's not a problem. So it changes in this specific case.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, Rachel. Also, she gives the name to the children.
Yes, that's what I assumed. Right.
Rachel gives the name. The mothers, they give the name. This is very interesting.
Right, although they're not the biological mothers in this case.
No, they
so
are.
to speak, right, in the context of this story.
Yes, very interesting. So do you have any question? Okay, or somebody has questions?
So far, I don't have any questions, but again, to all of our listeners or watchers, if you have any questions, please feel free and we'll get to it.
Okay, so we shall continue. I'll go back to the chapter and read. ותלת זלפה שפחת לאה, and Zilpah, the slave of Leah, gave birth a second son to Jacob, בן שני ליעקב. ותאמר לאה, now we shall move again with the slide. ותאמר לאה, באושרי, in my happiness, כי אישרוני בנות, because the daughters had confirmed me. ותקרא את שמו אשר, and she named him Asher. Now we see the second son from Zilpah is named by Leah Asher. Why? We shall see why. She will explain. Also here there's a double, triple speech. We shall see in the verse. Le'asher, the verb is le'asher, is to confirm.
Which is a word that you would use in modern Hebrew also, right?
Yes, to confirm a registration somewhere.
Like someone on the internet in a...
Yes, confirm your email as
right.
Yes, confirmation, email confirmation, yes.
Okay, so
right.
this
we
comes
use
from
it
the verb
until
to confirm.
Yes. And now we shall see the verb. Again, we shall see in colors how her speech is triple. ותאמר לאה, and Leah said, באושרי, in my happiness, כי אישרוני בנות, because daughters confirmed me.
Yeah, we have a typo here. We're going to fix that in the later version.
ותקרא את שמו אשר. So she said it's like my happiness because daughters had confirmed me, because I feel like I have confirmation by others, by the external world.
Could you explain that a bit? I'm not sure.
This is very, very hard to explain, because when we look into the books deep, it's a very, I don't know, it's hard to explain it, because in a way our happiness is depend on the external world of acceptance, yes.
You mean like, in a way, like we can see this with children, right? When they do
Yes.
something and they jump and they say, "Look, mom, I jumped."
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So they're looking for this like external validation, which is
Yes.
a perfectly natural way of growing up. But as adults, we continue in this way, right?
Yes, we always look to confirm what we feel or what we sense or what we think from the surrounding, the external world, which is not our inner thoughts and feelings. We always look like a point of reference that somebody will confirm or say it's good, or if it's not, we are waiting to.
But why is it the
Somebody-
daughters here?
This is very, very important, because they say in one of the laws that all those 4 women of Jacob, like Rachel, Leah, Bilhah, and Zilpah, they are coming from one father. They were the daughters of all 4 of them, were the daughters of Laban.
Right, I mean, it's known in the Bible that Leah and Rachel were sisters, right?
Yes.
This is well known, but you're saying also the slaves, they were actually sisters as well.
Sisters and daughters of Laban, but not from a wife, but from one of his maids. So
Okay.
already from the
okay.
beginning they are lesser, so to speak, lesser.
So they're copies of the former structure, so to speak.
Yes, they are lower in one step than Rachel and Leah, because it's not, how to say, the lady of the house.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the mother of Rachel and Leah was the lady of the house, a matronit. You say in Aramit matronit.
The matron, yes, like in English.
Yeah. And the 2, in a way, they were like a child of a maid, Zilpah and Bilhah.
Oh, and what does that have to do there? Why is she like saying, "For daughters confirm me"?
Because now because all of them, they are daughters. You can explain it like this. I'm sure
Yeah.
there are another ways to look at this, because all of the 4, they are daughters of Laban. They are banot, daughters of Laban. So she looks in a way, and I have confirmation, meaning even my maid or my slave is like capable of giving birth. So not just me, but also her. So there is like confirmation of the surrounding. Everybody's giving birth. We are among equals. We are mothers, all of us. Maybe. Because when people look at this, interpreters of the Bible look at this, and they say that the daughters is a general public of neighbors, sisters, girls of the village, like women crowd.
Okay, so it's like a
But
general
not-
term in this case.
Yes, but not women, because it's daughters, but not girls. Like girls, when they look up at like grown people, they see mothers in the crowd, or grannies or aunts. They relate to people as like owners of related in the family structures. And when the girls, banot or daughters, they look up, they see like a structure already of a family, like there is a confirmation of the surrounding to the developing status of a family.
Okay.
So there is like confirmations. Once there's a children, there's a confirmation. There's a family, or there's a lady of the house who's giving birth. Also, we know also from the houses of kings in Europe, there's like children of the queen are children of the maids. This is
True.
how it is.
Like in Downton Abbey or one of these series, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this is very interesting. I think that one of our slide jumped, if I'm not mistaken. It's like,
Right, it seems so.
yeah?
Let's go
Okay.
back. Okay.
So let's go back, and I'll go again to the verse of the Bible and continue to read. And here comes a story. This is chapter 30, verse 14. Vayelech Reuven bi'imei ktsir chitim. And Reuven walked in the time they are, how do you say, ktsir chitim, cutting the wheat. Vayimtza dudaim basade, and he found mandrakes in the field. Vayave otam elea imo. he brought them to Leah, his mother. Vatomer Rachel el Leah, and Rachel says to Leah, Tni nali miduda'e bnech, please give me from your son's menstruate. Vatomer la, and Leah says to Rachel, Hame'at kachtech ishi, it's not enough that you take my man, velakacht gam et duda'e bni, and you also want the mandrake of my son? Vatomer Rachel, and Rachel said, Lachen yishkav imach halayla, this is why he will sleep with you tonight, instead of the mandrakes of your son. Now there is exchange between the sister. Rachel asked for the mandrake, for the special plant, and Leah, they make an exchange. Is it clear, this exchange?
Yeah, this is, I mean, everybody who wants can read this story. One thing, by the way, that I would really recommend to everybody is if you can get a copy of Thomas Mann's Joseph and His Brothers, which is a beautiful retelling of the whole story in a beautiful literary and very expansive way. He also gives a lot of importance to this specific side story, how they were making this exchange, so to speak, between each other.
Yes?
This bargain, exactly. Highly recommended reading for anybody who's interested in this.
So let's speak it by heart. The deal between the sisters, since Rachel wants this mandrake to hold this flower in her hand, and Leah does not. She noticed Leah wants something from her, so they make an exchange. Rachel takes the flower in her hand, and instead she offers Leah to spend the night with Jacob. And from this night, Leah conceives and then she's giving a birth to a son, and she names the new son Yisachar. And she said why she named him like this. We shall see. You see here a person holds a fee in his hand like a sack of money. Sachar is a fee or a salary. And Leah says, Yesh sachar, there is a fee, Yisachar. Here we shall see the verb. Vatomer Leah, and Leah said, Natan Elohim schari, God gave my fee. Asher natati shifchati leishi, because I gave my slave to my man, and she named him Yisachar, meaning she named the new son upon a deed that she did in the past. Is that clear? It's a bit complex, I know. She felt that by giving her maid, her slave Zilpah, it's so hard for her, and she felt like she had a compensation in this new child that was born. This is why she named him Yisachar. There is a fee. To everything that we do, there is a reward or a salary. She quit her honor, in a way, by giving her slave to Jacob as a wife.
Right. And
after this story with her sister Rachel, that she gave her the flower and she gave her a night instead, she conceived and gave birth, and she named the son upon her quit in the past, meaning she was willing to make a sacrifice, give her slave, but afterwards she continued to give birth. So in a way she was conversing with herself. She says there is a fee. Yesh sachar. It's really rewarding sometimes to quit your honor.
Mm-hmm.
Does it make any sense?
No, it definitely, like I said before, was why I mentioned Thomas Mann. The story is quite complex, especially this whole business of the mandrakes, right? Why does she even want those mandrakes? What's so important about this flower?
It was known in the old world until today, when people go to remedy, to herbalists, that this mandrakes. Did you see the flower?
It looks a bit like they say, I've seen in the commentaries as well, that it looks like a little man. That's why it's
yes,
also
there is a
called
purple.
mandrake.
Yes, there is. It blooms in June when they cut the wheat. I mean, it has a purple flower, and the root of the flower is like man and wife together in an act of making love. If somebody wants to see forms in roots, it's really visual.
No, you see, like they're entwined.
Entwined couple inside the root.
Exactly.
And people believed, herbalists in ancient worlds, that it's a remedy against people who don't manage to conceive or to catch pregnancy, as they say, to be able to prepare the womb for pregnancy. So Rachel wanted to conceive. And once Reuven came from the field with his flower to his mother and the root, she wanted, okay, there's a remedy, and maybe she could use it. And
there is also interesting that in Hebrew the word for this flower also is a doubleness, right?
yes, dudaim.
So it
Yes,
again has
it's
this
double uncle.
Mhm.
Yes, very interesting, because this is the name that she also gave her son later. Is
Right,
from
that's
the
like I
other-
said, this is a whole story for itself. We could talk
Of
for 3
couple.
hours just about this
Yes.
issue with the mandrakes.
Yes.
So, but just maybe keep it in the back of your mind for now. I've heard also there's some story that says that these, not just in a medicinal way, these plants, they have a very powerful symbolical meaning in this story. I've heard there's a little commentary that says that Reuben, I think it was Reuben,
Yes.
correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes, it is.
saw that a donkey tried to pull these mandrakes out and died because they were so strong. You remember this story?
Yes. He walked in the field. He noticed a donkey who was trying to pull the dudaim from the field. The moment he touched them, the donkey died.
Right, and then he knew, there's something powerful here.
Powerful, because donkey in Hebrew is chamo, but also the same words. Maybe I can write it
Yeah, one
and the
second. I'll
pad.
bring up the pad here.
That people could see that the donkey,
second.
that whenever the Bible mentions donkeys, it's not just this animal. It's just, how do you say, metaphorical language.
Maybe
So-
just write it down that people can see
Okay.
how close it actually is.
Yes, 1 second. Turn into Hebrew. This is here.
So this is a donkey.
Chamo, but has the same letters like Homer, material. Donkey. Maybe you can write Chamo, Homer. Can you write on the pad?
Sure.
Okay, donkey.
So chamor would be the donkey, right? and then-
donkey. Is
Then we have the chomer, which would be the
Chomer.
material.
כן, חומר זה material. So what Reuben saw in the field is not that the animals like donkey, he saw something. He saw that the dudaim, they have a quality of spiritual, because if the meeting of the chamor, chomer, with the dudaim caused the death of the material, so it must be something higher than the material. So it connects also to the spirit. This is why he brought it home to his mother. Home is always mommy. So he brings this mandrake to his mommy Leah. And since Rachel know this is a how do you say, this is capable, it has capability, and she asked, please give me from, she did not say from the dudaim, but from dudae bnech, from the mandrakes of your son. And I think that Leah didn't like this. This is what she says. It's not enough that you take my man, also you take the son, what the mandrake of my son. Okay, so we shall continue, and there is another son which is coming to the world. And this is the sixth son from Leah and Jacob. His name is Zvulun. Here we shall see the word is Lezabel, which means to fertilize. To fertilize.
Is
And
the English name Isabel somehow related to this? Because it kind of sounds
yes,
like this.
yes. Isabel, because E is an island, and a fertilized island. This is what it means. A fertilized island.
I'm just
With a-
checking
with a
here on
little-
Wikipedia. They say it actually comes from Elisheva in this case.
They can say whatever they like in Wikipedia. I mean, this is what it means in Hebrew. I don't know, because the name Jezebel or is accepted in all the other languages as well, also in Hebrew, but it says Izebel when you depart the word into different letters, and this is what you get, Izebel, an island of fertilized island.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see. It's interesting what they say.
I mean, it is related also to, if you want to look at Jezebel, right, from the Old
Yes.
Testament.
She was she used to work for the Baal and the Asherah. She used to worship foreign goddess and gods and goddesses. I mean, the Bible, interestingly, because it's in the Bible, her name is not considered to be positive name in a way.
Exactly,
In a
she's
way.
kind of like the root of all prostitution or something, all kinds of scheming that goes along with it.
Yes, the underworlds, the
so to
queen of
speak.
yes.
But I mean,
Yeah.
you might see some kind of relation here, at least in the spelling. If
I can
Isabel
see.
and Lezabel is pretty close,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, yes. It's interesting because what you said before, because you mentioned the relation about Elisheva. I can say something. I can say something about the word Lezabel, to fertilize. There is a name for the temple in the Bible, and the word is Zvul. Zvul is
Mhm.
the temple. So
Isn't it
the-
Bet HaMikdash?
yes, Zvul is Beit HaMikdash, is a synonym to Beit HaMikdash. Yes, and you see that the idea is that the temple is a place when a person can nourish himself, can go there and fertilize. Not just a physical place, but the
Right,
core
this is
idea
something
is
to keep in mind here always, right? We're not talking about some biology.
yes.
It's not a lesson in biology.
no, geography. It's not.
Right.
It's not a temple. It's located physically somewhere, but
Right,
it's,
there's a lot to say about this topic as well,
Mhm.
of course. I hope we'll get to this in the future one day.
yes,
Okay, but that's interesting. I didn't know that.
yes, Zvul. Well, so this is the sixth son of Leah. There is an interesting perception of Ha'ari from Tzfat and Ramchal. They see in the 6 sons of Leah a metaphor to the 6 days of the week, because after Leah gave birth to 6 sons, she gave birth to a daughter. This is the Shabbat, the Saturday. So if you want to dive into this pattern to see the seal of God in the children's birth, you can see it. To people who are willing to see. And now we shall move to the next one. And I mean, not to the next one, but to the verb that she says and gives the name. Zevadani Elohim oti zeved tov, hapa'am yizbeleni ishi, ותקרא את שמו זבולון. Shall I explain this a bit?
Wait a second.
Zeved.
The translation here, is that accurate?
Oh no, I think it's the
Right,
law.
something
Yes,
is
we have to
went wrong
correct.
here. Could you translate it maybe for us again in English?
Yes. Zeved is a present or a gift or a cabinet full of good things, like something that you fill the house with goodies. This is what it means, zeved. All the equipment that you need for life. Everything, from food to material, objects, furniture, everything. So Leah says, Zevadani Elohim, meaning God had given me many presents. Zevetov, good, present, furnished house, so named it. This time, my man will give me many presents, and she named his name Zevulun. It's a very complex sentence.
So the idea here of Lezabel
Yes.
is kind of not just to fertilize, but also to bestow, to give,
Yes.
to nourish something.
Yes.
Okay.
Because there is, if you notice, Zevadani is that the letters are Zain, Bet, Daled, Zavad with Daled, but she named him Zvulun. She named him with the Lamed, Zain, Bet, Lamed. So there is a difference between Zevadani, the verb that she uses, and the name she gives. Because God had given me many gifts, and this time my husband will do it, because my husband does what God does, like is a reflection. She noticed she was like fruitful with 6 sons.
Right, okay.
So it's hard to explain it, but what I can say is that in a Jewish tradition, when son comes to the world, after 8 days they make a brit milah, like a ceremony, and they name the son. But also when a girl is being born, they make a party in which she's granted with a name, the baby girl, and this ceremony is named in Hebrew Zeved Habat, meaning the good, full house when the daughter or the child is coming into. Zeved is like complete world of good things.
Okay.
Zeved Habat. It's in the Siddur. There's a special prayer for. I know people not so much accustomed to this in the world. They more know about the Brit for
right,
the
this
boys.
is pretty famous. The bris, like they say,
yeah,
right?
it's very famous.
Yeah.
But also there is a ceremony for the baby girl when she has her name, and they bless the new baby girl with a fortune that will escort her through whole life.
Oh, this is very commonly done, or this is kind of a thing that just some people do?
No, it's in the Siddur, meaning it's in the tradition. There's a prayer. It's very not everybody does it. There is an option that people.
Okay. So it's kind of not that well known, like you say.
Not that well known. Now they also go and they make this much more like broad with many people in a hall. Like they put 500 people in one meal. But this is the source of it, Zeved Habat. Now it became more external.
But you say this is the root.
This is the root. Yes, Zeved
So,
Habat, to
excuse
grant
me
a
if
baby girl.
if I ask this question, yes, but it sounds to me a bit like, superficially speaking, that what is being celebrated here is some kind of, it looks a bit like a fertility cult, no? Like,
Where?
yeah, the girls, they will be fertile, and that's like their main reason to exist in life, and we're gonna celebrate that fertility.
I didn't think about it like this, but I don't think like you.
Maybe I misunderstand something here.
I don't think like you. I think that, in a way, that, let's say, a daughter, a girl, at this, how do you say, this is amazing grace, and it expresses itself like the amazing grace has many faces and many options, and has everything in it. This is how I see it. It doesn't mean that every girl should marry at the age of 12.
Now, obviously, I'm playing a bit devil's advocate here.
Yes, it's
Right?
okay. But this is the amazing grace, basically.
You say the idea of Zevulun, or like this fertility, is not necessarily meant only in a biological way.
No, of course not. The options all the time. Because in another reading of this, the reading of the Psukim, the verses of the Bible, in a way, Zevulun is like the name of the crown of the creation, because from Zevulun, from this spot when everything is just being get a holiness and just drives to the world and leads itself to the world, is the crown, because we have 10 spheres. We did not speak about the 10 spheres of the tree of life, but I hope we shall get to this point.
There's a lot of ground to cover. Bear with us.
Yeah. And one of the synonym of Keter is Zvulun, because in a way, to give benefit, to bestow the world, the infinity is supposed to go down in the steps of humans or animals, and to go to the step we can influence. So I don't know how to explain it better.
I think that
but it's a very high name. It's a very high name. Today, people do not name their children like this anymore. It's not very common.
Right.
So we shall move now to the next one. And the next one is...
Here comes an important one.
Yes, Joseph. Finally, Rachel. Finally, Rachel conceives and gives birth to a son.
Also, like we mentioned in the beginning, right? Joseph doesn't actually count as one of the tribes.
Yes, because he was, in a way, if you want to say it, he was sold by his brothers. So he doesn't have any place. They deleted his existence by selling.
His two children count as
tribes. His children that were born in Egypt, Menashe and Ephraim.
So in a way, we get a minus on Joseph, we get a minus on Levi, but we get 2 pluses on the sons of Joseph, and like this we get the full 12 tribes.
Yes.
In the common way of looking at it, yeah?
Yes. Yes, it's true. And now we shall see from the verb lehosif, to add. To add, lehosif. This is why we make here plus. And this is the verse that his mother said. Vatomer, this is Rachel saying, Vatomer, Asaf Elohim et cherpati, Vatikra et shmo Yosef. Leimor, Yosef Hashem li ben acher. Can you read the English, please?
And she said, God collected my shame, and she named him Joseph, to say Hashem will add me another son.
Yes.
Why did you say she? Is here a female form of God, or?
And she said, Rachel said, because it does not here say the verbs, and she said, meaning Rachel. Okay, Rachel said. So here we see like the verb, again, is a double speech. Asaf collected, God collected my shame, because she had to see so many children being born before she had the right to conceive and to give birth. So she felt being shamed. So she said, Asaf Elohim et cherpati, God collected my shame, because she finally conceived and gave birth to a son, and she named him Joseph.
So why? Asaf is also a very common name, right?
Asaf is a very common name in Israel. Yes, it's also one of the poets in David times, I think. He's also a poet.
And in terms of grammar, the only difference between Asaf and Yosef is that it's future, right?
Yes.
So one is like past, collected, or added, has already happened, and Yosef is it will be added, it will happen.
It's also a different building, because Asaf is the binyan kal, like there are 7 buildings in the Hebrew language of verbs. Asaf is from the first building, and Yosef is from lehosif, like It's a verb called hif'il, like building called hif'il. It's another structure, but the root is similar.
They're obviously related, yeah.
Related, yes. Yes. This is Joseph. This is the first son of Rachel and Jacob. After so many children. Let's count 6 of Leah. This is the 11th son.
Right, and
Because
there's
we
only
have
one more after Joseph.
Yes, 6 of Leah, 2 of each maid or slave, so it's 4, and this is the 11th sons, the 11th son and the elevating power of the 11, as we said before. And the next one, she gives also a life to another son, but in a cost of her life, because while she's delivering Binyamin, she quits. I mean, she has to leave her body. We shall speak about it. The 12 sons is Binyamin, Benjamin, and we shall explain the name. Son of right, son of grace, or son of life, because the meaning of Yamin is son of right, the right side, or son of grace, or son of life, or son of belief. And why does he get this name? We shall see. Now we shall read about the circumstances of this special delivery. ויהי בצאת נפשה, כי מתה, ותקרא שמו בן אוני, ואביו קרא לו בנימין. When she gave birth, it was a hard birth, and she saw, the maid told her, look, there is a boy also coming, another one. And she named him the son of my powers, Ben Oni, because she did not have any powers after she pushed the child to the world. She did not have any power to breathe another breath,
Right,
and
so
she quit.
literally her soul went out of her, yeah?
Yes,
You
yes.
translate it here as anima. It's kind of interesting.
Yes, I picked this word specifically because it was, according to Ha'ari, she could give only birth to one child. Her power in this life was only to give birth for one child, but she pushes herself through another one, so it was on account of her life. So she took the baby outside of her and then she quit. She could
literally
not live
died during childbirth.
Yes, yes. This is why she named him Ben Oni, the son of my powers. But Jacob, who saw this, he named it in another name, Binyamin. Not the power of a woman or the power of the material, which has expiring date, but the son of belief, the son of life, the son of grace. In this way, he termed his life. Because what happens if the power of man or woman is just expired, so everything will die? This is why he named the son Benjamin, the son of life, the son of grace, son of belief. Yamin is also the name of the land of Israel. Yamin.
Right, I just wanted to ask, is it like in most languages that it says like right is what is right? So, like, I mean, these are two directions, right? You could say they're like, it's random. One is on the one side, the other one is on the other side. But in German, for example, it's related to like justice and all of these kind of words. Is that in Hebrew also?
Right.
That yamin, this is like related to justice or righteousness or something?
We always says to open things in the right foot. There is a saying, to start a business, beregel yamin. Or wake up in the morning, al tzad yamin, on the right side. There is a saying like this. Also in the Zohar, when Rabbi Shimon went, he's lying on his bed, he's lying on the right side. There's a lot of, is a grace.
So the right is generally, this is what I was asking, associated with something positive, yeah?
Grace, we have to separate, because today when people speak in the world, in politics or in social streams. They
Right, we
speak
talk about left wing and right wing. That's something
yes,
different.
but it's something completely different, because right in the Bible, yamin is always life and grace. This is what it means. And belief, again. It's not politics. We don't speak about the worldly topics. This is, you suspect the words. I know you don't want to relate to the word spiritualism, but when those words
sounds a bit new age, you know.
You would say, but maybe if you say it's amazing grace, people can accept it better.
What I was also thinking, isn't it also from the Hebrew word lehamin, to believe?
Le'amin, of course, emunah,
right,
of course.
Like faith. These words are all they belonging to this
Amen,
word for right.
emunah.
Amen, another
of
one.
Course,
yes,
from
course,
amen,
yes.
of course, tree of life, the combination of
Exactly.
bringing life into actualization. Of course, this is why she gave the name Benoni from this point of quitting on everything, because
right,
she quit
this
her
is
breast.
the great end point, so to speak.
Yes. So this is the last of my powers. This is the most I can give in this life. And the father named him Benjamin, because he was the only one of the 12 sons of Jacob who was born in the land of Canaan. All the 11 sons, were born under their grandpa Laban.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the only one who was born here, in the land of Israel later. So Benjamin, the son of the country, meaning not the son of his biological mother in a way. He gave him a total different setup, the father, by giving the name Benjamin.
All right. So I hope we didn't stretch our listeners also to the end of their powers too much with this whole presentation. It's a bit difficult to take all of this in one go, but perhaps it's also not so important that you understand each and every detail. It's just to give you a general overview of these names and of the Hebrew roots that are behind these names. And of course, you can continue your own studies and research whatever of these figures you find particularly interesting. You can just jump into Wikipedia, or Mechon Mamre is a good source for English, Hebrew Bible reading, and you can just see what connections you will find.
Thank you. I hope you had some patience because it's a very complex topic. But slowly, each time we can pick or take another one.
And as usual, if you have any questions, even if you see this later as a recording or listen to this somewhere, just write down your thoughts and we'll be happy to get back to you.
Thank you. And happy good month. It's a new month today, Hebrew month, the month of Shvat. And we take every letter of the month, Shin, Su, carry, Vet, bracha, blessing, Tet, tova, carry good blessing with you wherever you go. And happy week.
Have a great week.
Bye.